Well, hello, folks. Happy post Labor Day. Hope or Happy New Year also. I hope many of our audience didn't get caught up in the rain and the storms and the flooding one way or the other.
Yes,
I'm
happy
Joe
New
Wesley,
Year.
by the way.
I'm Lizzy Gabor. Hi, everybody. Hey, folks. Hey, ladies and gents.
For those who are visiting us for the first time, thank you for doing that. For those of you who are coming back again, we thank you for that too. In either instance, we want you to always come back, always ask questions, always feel like you're a part of this, and always share. The protocol is commercial break here. We at 8 o'clock. We do sometimes get in a little bit early. For those who cheat, you don't have to watch us a little bit early. Just look at us 2 in the afternoon through the posting of it. Again, through LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. We do encourage, if you look at us through YouTube, to please remember to sign in through YouTube or Google so you can leave comments. We do audit your comments, we do incorporate them, and we learn from them, and hopefully we can share that back to you. For those, the purpose of this for the new people is I'm a left brain kind of guy, and I'm very proud of that. Sounds like I just lost my verbal. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, I'll figure this out. That the concept being that the contrast I have with Lizzy is that she is a right brain persona. Actually, she's left brain too. She sneaks it in all the time. But her messaging is on the right brain side. And it's holistic. If I'm getting it correct, it's how many? 40? We've done 41 of these. I'm still not clear what she does. So that's why we're having this dialogue. That she talks about mindfulness and well being and successful, among other things. And it sounds like it makes value because the people I know of her speak highly of her. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not quite there yet. And normally I do a very long preamble about the topic. For the moment, we don't rehearse this stuff, by the way. I'm just going to start off with the topic and then work into it from the other direction. And Lizzy shared a quote with me that your inside person doesn't age. Now, I beg to differ because my joints scream out at least 3 or 4 times a day. You're not the young thing I used to be 40,000 years ago. Boy, I'd still like to brag about on a Friday night. I'm in New Jersey, drive to Chicago, do an all-nighter party, the whole 2 nights, drive back on Sunday night, and go to work Monday morning. If I'm up beyond the sun falls, I am dead to the world. So my mind is there. My body hasn't caught up to it. So I just want to see how Lizzy gets out of this one.
Well, what I am talking about
Oh, see, she's already changing the
I'm
terms
talking
here.
about I'm talking about that inner essence, our inner spirit, our soul, our highest version of ourselves, the part of us that does not age, that
Mm-hmm.
divine part of us that is ageless. I mean,
No, I
our
don't know.
body
Excuse
has
me.
been
No,
our
you,
body. We've been in a different body since we were born, right?
okay.
In a child's body, a baby's body, a teenager's body, a 20-year-old's body.
All right, I go along with that.
But my spirit, if I choose to, and if I'm hoping that people choose to, can only get brighter and stronger with
Mm-hmm.
the wisdom and the experiences and the resilience and the falling down and getting back up. I just don't think we have to accept the notion that just because we're a certain number that we're going to decline and we're going to have tight joints. So that must mean, Joe, you got to get up and you got to move your body more. You got to get
Oh, Jesus.
you got to get
Folks, it's always back on me. When I listen to Liz, it's like you just turn a light switch on and the chimes go off and the balloons pop in the air and these things happen. But each time I speak with her, it's like, Joe, you got to do something too as a part of this program. And so that's the part, and which kind of makes sense because I don't believe in the light switch phenomenon. I do say, well, how does one start on this?
Well,
Uh,
it starts, I think, with getting up in the morning and getting out of bed and saying, this is going to be a great day, rather than getting out of bed and saying, ow, you know, this,
yeah,
this hurts. And even if it does, it's like mind over matter. I mean,
well,
I'll tell you about, as we were preparing for this, excuse me.
mhm.
She passed in 2020. She was 101, the oldest yogi, the world's oldest yogi in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I used to follow her. This is a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I just when we were talking about this topic, I was like, I just want to see if she's still alive. So I looked her up, and it turns out that she actually lived in White Plains, New York, which is where I live. She taught yoga for something like 70 years at the community center up like 2 miles from my house.
Yeah.
And I never knew that. But I mean, was the opinion. She had 4 hip replacement surgeries. She started dancing, ballroom dancing at the age of 87.
My.
And she danced with a 26-year-old partner. And, her motto was just like, she just lived her life to the fullest. And she wasn't going to let anything stop her. And I think that, there's a lot to be learned in that. And it's how I want to, I'm not going to, I'm not going to believe, let myself get old. I just think as far as in my spirit and it limiting me from doing the things I want to do. And I want that for everybody.
I hear your point, and I can understand the concept, this lady in particular that you mentioned. But for me, it's more than one item of focus. And so here, folks, I'm asking this question by making this statement. My prior life, I am an eye surgeon. I'm an ophthalmologist, and part of my training was I was a medical student at one time, medical intern at one time. And boy, when admission came in, I was like a samurai warrior. I could hang blood. I could take a history. I could write orders. I could do the examination. I mean, I was seamless. I was swirling. I was doing this. I was doing that. And it was just matter of fact. Now, if I yawn too long, I forget my mouth is open. And I got the whole life ahead of me still. So, look, whoa, I'm a different person now than I was then.
I mean, again, like I said, you're a different person as far as the actual meat suit that you're wearing. But what you were talking about in the OR where it was flow, being in that state of flow. So it's when and I know you that when you're starting to work on something that you're excited about, and just like me, you get into that state, and I mean, you get tired. Okay, so you break, you come back. But if you're real, it's about doing those things that bring you into that flow state that I think is so invigorating. I think it's what we kind of all want to have. Experience,
I hear
on
that.
the daily, in the best situations.
Sure, I hear that, and actually, my unasked question just came to me listening to you, folks. I do listen to her every now and then, at least. Is that what I'm really talking about? Is the headwind, that mindset? I get the concept. Think young. I get the concept, but my body's saying, "Whoa, I'm just not in the mood for that today." Are really gonna go this route again, or you gonna try something brand new? So are there little tricks of the trade that you use for yourself that you might share to the public out there that they can do their own kind of recalibration?
Well, again, I would say really, before you put your feet down on the floor of getting out of bed, is like to proclaim this. This is going to be, I forget the quote that I love, like. To be here is glorious. This is some famous quote that I love. I wake up, to be here is glorious, or this is going to be the best day, or yes, the thing I do, yes. And then, and then I also have my morning routine where I sit and I meditate, and I like think about how do I want my day to go. I mean, I kind of play a movie in my mind about what I want to accomplish, how I want to feel, what I want to eat, how I want to show up for my friends or my family. And then my latest addition is a dance song. I put on one song in the morning and I dance it out. Uptown Funk was the song this morning.
Interesting.
And I was dancing around the house, and so it's about putting yourself in those joy practices. I'm calling them. It's like practicing joy. It's like a new thing that I really want to like make a movement out of. Also, is just these joy practices, that to do them alone, to do them collectively, to keep things interesting with your relationships. Like try new things. Don't go to the same restaurant the same day of the week, the same every single week. I mean, of course it's going to get old, so spice things up in your life as in little ways, little tiny ways.
Okay. I hear that now. Folks,
don't accept that, like, just because you're a certain age, like I know women especially, it's like, oh well, I'm gonna have this belly around, it's just part of it. It's like it doesn't have to be, like you can actually exercise that off. I've seen it many times in people, up into their 80s and 90s, and it's like don't just be a victim of your life. Be the victor. Be the thriver.
I hear that. And folks, now, in all fairness, I managed, despite myself, to keep my mouth shut for at least more than 30 seconds. I feel proud about that. As she's explaining her program and concept, and I kind of get the glimpse of it, but when she's talking about starting the morning out, first doing the stretching and the smack and the swinging around, I got lost after that because my first question unasked was, well, is your husband up by then so you're not smacking him in the face when you're swinging your fist around in the air? I mean, that's my left brain. Everything else just clotted over me.
Yeah, no, I'm actually downstairs in my little area, my little sacred space. And then I also recommend. I think I've talked about mirror work, about like saying in the mirror, Liz, you're gonna have a great day today, and at the end of the day, Liz, I love you. You did this well today. You chose to move your body. You chose to, and in that sense, make sure that you tell your partner that you're doing that, or because they might think you've lost your mind if they hear you talking to yourself in the mirror.
I do it all the time. Now, so that brings to mind another question. In terms, you mentioned having excess tissue in your body that you don't like to see, you don't want to see, and I'm always asking coping mechanism and how do you turn it around. I've learned, by the way, I put a rheostat light in my mirror, and I'll rephrase it, in my light in the bathroom where the mirror is located. So my coping, and I'm sure Lizzy's going to have a comment about this, my coping is when I don't like what I'm seeing, the extra flap here and the extra line, I just turn the rheostat down and make sure I put it in the shadow zone of the room. It disappears. I'm not the same flabby person I was like 30 seconds ago. So is that a viable technique to get your mindset?
Believe me, look what people are doing with all their filters and their photoshopping. You're photoshopping yourself in the mirror.
Well, I'm trying to get a state of mind here, yes?
But again, like I think I've told you before, what I did for a while, because I struggled with my weight, with my body image, and with the number on the scale, not thinking that it was the right number for,
Sure.
And so for a while, I took a piece of paper, I put the number I wanted, and I put it on the scale. And every day I got on the scale and I saw that number and I was like, yes.
All right. I see. Now that I relate to, folks. So what caused you to take that?
And I mean, it might seem like that's a silly thing and you're fooling yourself, but it was just like, I am not going to let this number dictate how I'm going to feel. And when I let go of that struggle, like I just was like, I'm not going to talk to my friends about it. I'm not going to like, oh, I'm up 3 pounds. Oh my God, this is going to be such a horrible week. What am I going to wear when we go out? I said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to discuss it. And since then, I mean, it's been now years. I don't know, not that many years, but I can count on probably one hand that I don't struggle with my body. I don't even look at the scale. I mean, I know how my body feels, and I eat what I want to eat. And if I eat too much here, when I'm on vacation, I know I gained a feel. I just kind of monitor myself the next week a little bit, but it's not this regimented, like restrictive way of thinking about it. And it's an acceptance also of the fact that, I have these jiggly bits also. And, I love myself anyway. And so do my friends and my husband, all with all the flaws and all the imperfections. And so, yeah, it's an acceptance plus, and in addition, it's also, I think if you want to change it, that you can achieve it if you put your mind to it. I believe that anything you can conceive in your mind, you can achieve but it requires action. It requires doing the work. And for me, it required just letting go of the struggle, of the resistance,
right?
Which I think is how I kind of put down those bricks or whatever, those pounds. It was like I released it. I'm like, I don't need to have this struggle anymore. And with that, my weight stabilized.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. And actually, as I'm listening, another thought came to me in terms of accepting, not rejecting. And I had two thoughts, and this is not going to happen today in the topic because we've got 2 more minutes. But certainly part of me is if you put it out of your mind as a block, is it becoming part of a pressure cooker that does not have an escape valve, and this stuff builds and builds. That's one aspect, maybe for a future topic. Folks, help us out on your comments. Another consideration, perhaps, acceptance versus apathy. Do I just resign myself and accept it there, and does that kind of slow down progress? And I don't have an answer to that,
Mhm.
but as I'm listening, I can see just a whole plethora of future topics that
Mhm.
we can discuss. And those who are observing us, either in the live zone or in the replay zone, please share your thoughts and comments also. So, what do you?
Absolutely.
That's a lot of sit in one breath. But Lizzy, comment on that to take us home.
I mean, is there yeah, a fine line between acceptance and apathy? I think there's a big line. I think there's a
Mm-hmm.
big line. I think, we need to accept what is in order to create something new,
Right.
and um, I think acceptance and awareness of acceptance of what is like really, and taking responsibility for
Mm-hmm.
what is really the keys to freedom. You know,
Okay.
and so it definitely could be something for another topic. But what I would say, just to the audience in general today, is like, you never know whether tomorrow will come. Honestly, not to be a downer, but so just live today as best you can. That's what I would say.
Okay. Well, that's good. Uh, About a time again. If we don't watch ourselves, we really, really will go over our curfew we impose on ourselves. Um, and I appreciate that closing. I've picked up, I think, at least three or four more subject matters. We make it a point not to rehearse because we want, for those who observe us, this is real day to day stuff. And to me, it's not magical. I don't think it is to Lizzy either. For my left brain personas, I need more found stuff I can touchy feely, as opposed to my head only emotional thing. And maybe there's no difference. Maybe there is. We'll talk about that. But
Mhm.
that's what we're all
Well,
about
yeah,
here.
because you're head, mind, body, and spirit all in one. So,
Okay,
yeah.
maybe we'll see.
And most of us live just from here up, and that's where we get.
Okay, see that's moi. So this is why we're having these discussions to get some mutual ground on this. Thank you very much, Lizzy, for your input, and thank you, audience, for being a part of this. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday, every Thursday, 8 o'clock to 8:15 Eastern Time, Standard or Daylight, barring holidays like Thanksgiving and other exceptions. But have a good one.
Have a good one, everyone. Please join us in our conversation. We would love, love, love to hear from you.
Absolutely.